Welcome back to Miniature Game Montage and another Flames of War battle report. Today, a German Panther company is on the move through the countryside. The Americans have a veteran Sherman tank company that has taken up a position in a nearby town. As the big cats approach, I want to say thank you for watching our videos. We're going to aim for a World War II themed game each month, and you can support us just by liking this video. If you have any feedback, don't hesitate to contact me in the comments below. Now, on to the lists. The Germans are led today by a Panther Tank Company HQ that consists of 2 Panther tanks. Also in the formation they will have 3 Panther tanks, 2 Tiger tanks, and 3 Panzer IVs. The lucky card will be taken for a total of 96 points. Over for the Americans, the M4 Sherman Veteran Tank Company will be led by 2 Sherman 75s. Also in the formation, they will have 4 Sherman 75s. They will have 5 Sherman 76s. We do have 2 proxied Fireflies in here. 3 additional M4 Shermans. We do have 1 Stuart that's proxied in there. Outside the formation and support, they will have 4 M10 tank destroyers and 4 3-inch tank destroyers. The lucky card is taken for a total of 96 points. Today, the mission is Counterattack, and special rules will include ambush and immediate reserves for the Americans. The Americans will place an objective in their table quarter, and the Germans will place an objective diagonally opposite of their own deployment area. Objectives must be at least 8 inches from all table edges and 12 inches from the center. For victory conditions, this game cannot be won before the 6th turn. The Germans can win if they are holding an objective at the end of their turn. The Americans can win if they end their turn with no attacking tank or infantry teams within 8 inches of an objective. And deployment is complete. The Americans can't put more than 60% of their forces on the battlefield. The Sherman 75s, the M10 tank destroyers, and the Sherman 76s are on the table. The 3-inch tank destroyers are in ambush, and the 2 Sherman 75 units are in reserve. Across the way, the German player has made their way into the town. First turn goes over to the Germans as we ready up for turn 1. The Panthers activate, moving horizontally across the crop fields. The Panther HQ unit will do the same, moving at tactical speed. We did roll cross checks off camera, both were good. The Panzer IV unit will then move forward to align with the Panthers. The Tiger tanks are then going to move at tactical speed down the street. And this is a look at the German forces at the end of the movement step, and we move into the shooting step. The Panzer IVs are going to take shots at the American M10 unit. They are long range, concealed, and on the ground, targeting them with their 7.5 centimeter cannons. 3 shots going out at their moving rate of fire, needing 7s. That is a 6 followed by a 5. They do score 1-6. Rerolling that out, it is a 5, so they will score a hit. There will be an armor save taken by the M10, getting a +1 for the long range, but it's a 1. It's going to fail, so a 3-up firepower dice will be rolled, and an M10 goes up in smoke. The Panzer IVs land the first kill. Next up, the Panther Platoon with 3 teams will fire into the M10s, again needing 7s, 6s followed by 5s, long range, concealed, gone to ground. 3 shots coming out with these cannons, and they are going to miss. Next up, the Panther HQ unit is going to fire at the same squad. 2 shots coming out at their moving rate of fire, and these are going to fail as well. Next up, the Tiger tanks are going to take aim at the same unit. They are still long range, so again, needing 7s, concealed and gone to ground, and they have these 8.8 centimeter cannons, and both of these shots are going to miss. So the least biggest threat of all of those tanks is the one that scores damage in that round. We are going over to the Americans for their starting step, and they're going to pop an ambush here as the 3-inch tank destroyers appear on the battlefield. They're going to roll for reserves on a 5-up. One of the Sherman units can come in, and that will not happen, so we're going to see a blitz move here by the Sherman 76s, as two of them can draw a line of sight to these tanks already, but trying to get some more in position. They can pass on a 3 with Yankee ingenuity. They roll up a 6, so they're going to move up to 4 inches with a blitz move. Now the second from the top, the Firefly Proxy, will need to take a cross check to get over this stone wall. He will pass on this 4, and he moves over the stone wall. The other 76 is going to move around the building, and they'll bring their guns to bear against these Tiger tanks. The 76s prepare to let loose fire, and 4 of them can draw a line of sight to the Tiger tanks. That's going to be 8 shots going out at their halted rate of fire. They are counted as not moving. They are short range but concealed, so we'll need 5s. 2 of these shots go through. The armor save on the first is failed, so a firepower check goes out, and it is good. That is a Tiger tank that is brought down. The second rolls out, needing a 4 to beat, 3 to equal, and it's good on a 6. But very good firepower coming from the 76s, bringing down a Tiger tank. Next up, the 3-inch tank destroyers will take aim at the Tigers as well. 8 shots coming out with their halted rate of fire. They are long range and concealed, so looking for 6s. And 2 hits get assigned to the lone Tiger tank. This is long range, so he gets a +1 bonus to his armor. So he is just going to need 2s here in order to equal, 3s to completely bounce this shot, and he tanked 12, and it's a 2. There's a firepower check that's going to go out to see if he is bailed, and he is bailed out. We're going to roll the next one here, looking for anything but a 1, and it's a 6. The other shot bounces. The M10 tank destroyers then take aim. The lead 2 tanks are going to target the Panzer IVs across the way. We are not counting that pond as any kind of terrain that gives concealment. So the first 2 will shoot at their halted rate of fire. It is just long range, so they are looking for 5s. 4 dice going out, and they get 2 hits as well. So we assign these up. They will get a +1 to their armor here. They need a 5 to equal and a 6 to bounce. And he tanked 12. The first one is a cock die. We re-roll that out. It's a save. The second one rolls out. It is a 5. That'll equal the anti-tank. And a firepower test will be rolled out. And it's good on this 4. That is going to be 1 bailed out, Panzer IV. The other M10 will shoot at the Tiger tank that is bailed out. 2 shots. It is long range and concealed, but that 6 will get it done. So that is 1 more hit going onto this tank. And I roll a 1. Firepower test coming out, just needing a 3 to explode, and it does. The Tiger tanks are off the board. The Sherman 75 HQ unit is just going to sit tight as we bring the first turn to a close. The Germans trying to enforce their will, have a lot of front armor, pushing that up the board, and they only took out 1 M10 with some lackluster shooting, which can happen in the first turn when you've got units that are concealed and gone to ground. The Americans certainly responded with a good blitz move here, fired through the buildings to take out Tiger tanks. The ambush was popped by the 3-inch tank destroyers along with the M10 to completely eliminate that unit and bail out a Panzer IV. Turn 2 coming up. And in the starting step for the Germans, they're going to attempt to remount this Panzer IV, and they will successfully do so. The Panthers are then going to move at tactical speed. The Panzer IVs are then going to activate, and they are going to move at tactical speed as well. The Panther HQ unit is going to do a terrain dash through this crop field, around the stone wall, and take up a new position. Moving into the shooting step, the Panthers are going to take shots at the M10 unit, and they are going to need 5s and 6s. 2 of these are short range, but he is concealed. That takes it to a 5. 1 is long range and concealed, making it a 6. So 1 die each for their moving rate of fire, and they're going to land 2 shots at short range, but it doesn't really matter because this thing goes right through the armor, and we're going to have to take firepower tests here. Needing a 3-up, the first one fails. Going to use the lucky card to re-roll this one right back out, and that one explodes. The second one is then going to go off, and it is going to be good as well. That is 2 M10s destroyed. And that's all for the Germans here. Let's go to the Americans. For the bottom of 2, we're going to take a last stand test for this unit here to see if they can stick around. They do so on this 4. And then we are going to roll for reserves. 2 units of Shermans are coming in, both platoons entering from the far board edge within 16 inches of the corner. The Americans move in from reserve, and the Sherman 75s start making their way toward the Panther tanks. The Sherman 76s are going to move at tactical speed to bring their cannons to fire at the Panthers as well. The M10 takes a cross-check to try to move to the edge of the woods, and he's going to fail. In the shooting step, the Sherman 75s will target the Panther tanks. They get to fire with their halted rate of fire even though they move due to stabilizers, but that's a +1 penalty to hit. They're going to need 7s here due to range, stabilizers, and concealment, so looking for 6s. And then we need to follow that up with 5s. So the first 2 are going to miss, and then we're going to fire with the proxied Stuart tank right there that is acting as a Sherman. 2 shots going out, needing 6s, followed by 5s. That fails. The other unit of Shermans is also going to lay down some fire. This time there is no concealment, so just hitting on 6s. 8 shots going out, and that's long range and stabilizers. And it looks like 1 hit is going to go through, and that is on the side, which is a 5, the range taking it to a 6. And I'm going to fail against an anti-tank of 10. And that is a good firepower test. 1 Panther is going to be destroyed. The 3-inch tank destroyers will fire next. Again, targeting those Panthers. They're going to need 5s to hit due to range. And 8 shots going out at their halted rate of fire. And they are looking for 5s, and all of these are going to miss. The 76s are going to fire next, again targeting those Panthers. They're going to get 10 shots at their moving rate of fire, but they do have to use stabilizers. So base hitting on a 4, the stabilizers go to a 5, and the range takes it to a 6. And it looks like 1 hit is going to go through. And that is going to go into the front armor, and the front armor on these pretty strong with a 9. Against an anti-tank of 12, that is a fail. I'm re-rolling this to keep one of these guys on the board if I can, and I will pass with my lucky re-roll. And that's the end of 2. 2 Sherman 75 platoons showed up on the field, took down one of the Panthers. The Panthers were able to waver the shots from the 3-inch tank destroyers as well as the 76s, and trying to reposition on the flank to put pressure on both objectives. Getting ready for turn 3, back over to the Germans in their starting step coming up. Starting step was good, movement step. The Panzer Force are going to make a tactical move around the church here, bringing some of those 76s into line of sight from the side. We're then going to have a tactical order. A blitz move is issued to these Panther HQ units. They are going to successfully pass that on that 6, and they are going to blitz over 4 inches. And then the other Panther unit is going to move at tactical speed, doing a little bit of a retreat and trying to get into some cover. With movement concluded, the shooting step opens up with the Panzer IVs. They're going to fire at the 76s through these buildings. They will have concealment, so needing a 5 to hit. 3 dice going out for their moving rate of fire. And one of these is going to be cocked. We're going to re-roll this back out. That is going to be 2 successful hits on the 76s. And it's going to go straight through to firepower on a 3-up. 176 explodes. And the other 76 also explodes. That's 2 tanks eliminated by the Panzer IVs. Next up, the Panther HQ unit will fire at their halted rate of fire. They're going to target the 3-inch tank destroyers. 4 shots coming out. It will need 6s due to range and concealment, as they are in foxholes. And those shots miss. They are going to attempt to shoot and scoot now with their Stormtrooper's ability. And rolling that skill test, they will pass on that 5, and they're going to scoot back out of line of sight. Next, the Panther unit will fire at its halted rate of fire. One of these going into the Sherman 75s. They will have range and concealment here, so needing a 6. That will fail, and the other one will shoot into the 3-inch tank destroyers. Again, range and concealment needing a 6 also fails. The German turn concludes, and we move over to the Americans for their starting step. First, a unit last stand test on these M10s. They are going to stick around. And then we are going to see the 76s move at tactical speed, bringing their guns around to fire at these Panzer IVs. The M10 tank destroyers will attempt a cross-check to move to the edge of the woods, will fail again. And then the 75s, that first unit, they are going to make their way around and through this crop field, eyeing down that Panther tank that's beside the farmhouse. The other 75 unit is going to move as well at tactical speed, going behind the woods and bringing one tank into line of sight of the Panther. The rest of the Americans will stay put, and we're going to move into the shooting step where the Sherman 76s will shoot into the Panzer IVs, short range, so just needing a 4.5s with stabilizers, and they are going to land 3 hits, so each of these tanks will be hit by fire, anti-tank 12 on these guns. First armor save is failed on a 1, firepower test coming out needing a 3-up, that is 1 Panzer destroyed. Next firepower dice rolls out, and that is a 4, that is a fail as well. And another firepower dice rolls out, another Panzer is destroyed. We're going to roll the last one here to see if we can save this unit. It is another 4, that is a fail against anti-tank 12. Firepower dice is good, and the Americans are on fire, more so the Germans are on fire. And the Germans really on the back foot, the Americans continuing to apply pressure. The 3-inch tank destroyers are going to fire downrange at the Panthers. Base 4, range of 5 is needed. They're going to get 8 shots with their halted rate of fire, and it looks like 2 of these are going to go through. Both of these are hit. There's a line through there where they can see that back tank as well, and that first armor save is going to be good. The second armor save is going into the rear/side armor, which is a 5. It's a 6 because of range, but we're talking about an anti-tank of 12 here. That's going to fail, and a firepower dice will be rolled out, and that is 1 Panther tank brought down. The Germans are really in trouble. So the end of turn 3, the Shermans pushed up the board, applying pressure to the Panthers. One of those Panthers was taken down. On the other side of the board, a complete platoon of Panzer IV tanks were eliminated by the Sherman 76s at close range. The Americans have been rolling really well. They're in very good positions, and the Germans just do not have the amount of tanks left to put pressure on the objectives. With that said, we're going to take a unit last stand test for these Panthers, needing a 3, I believe, due to the Last Reich rule, and they fail, so that Panther is off the board. That puts the formation in bad spirits. The HQ unit is going to take a formation last stand. It's a cock die here. We re-roll that back out. It is a 2. That's going to fail, but these are the only 2 tanks that are left on the board, and the Americans have so much firepower that this game is going to conclude, and the Americans are going to come away with a victory today. So hope you enjoyed watching this battle report as much as we enjoyed making it and bringing it to you. The last time that we brought a list like this for the Germans, they really did some work on the American forces. And my son rolled up for the Americans today, and he learned a few things in this game. I was really happy to see him come away with a victory, and I think he will be able to carry over a few things that he learned into our future games. And we look forward to making those throughout 2021 and putting those up on YouTube for you to see. So once again, thank you so much for watching. The Americans will come away with a victory today over the Germans in the mission Counterattack, and we will see you in the next one.